After tying the knot with my childhood crush for a year, my wife was always caught up in drama. That was until her first love made a comeback to the country, prompting me to stay away from home. She hunted for me everywhere, nearly flipping the entire city upside down. When she finally got a hold of me on the phone, her voice shook with emotion. "Jake, why didn't you come back?" When I walked in after work, I immediately noticed the chaos on the second floor the moment I slipped off my shoes. A guy in a bathrobe dashed downstairs, expertly grabbing a coffee from the kitchen like he owned the place. I didn't have to ask to know he was someone Mia had invited over. This was the 9th time this month. "Boss Jake, you're home super late." The guy flashed a cheeky grin. He seemed familiar, probably one of Mia's assistants. I replied without much interest and was about to head to my bedroom when I heard footsteps on the wooden stairs. Mia was wearing a white top, the hem barely touching her thighs, looking both innocent and alluring. "You done yet? We've still got stuff to sort out." Her soft voice had an unintended flirty tone, making it clear what she meant by stuff. Mia had a sweet face, but her actions were bold and unrestrained, just like Mia. "I'll be right there." The assistant gave me a smug smile, staring at me with contempt as if saying he'd soon take over this place. I ignored them and headed straight to my room. Passing through the living area, I noticed bits of my favorite Lego pieces in the trash. I frowned. "Who messed up my Lego?" The staff around didn't dare say anything. The assistant froze. An insincere apology came out, lacking any real remorse. "It's on me. I knocked it over while dealing with Mia." "Didn't mean to, Boss Jake. You cool with that?" He was holding Mia's shoulder, looking all cozy, and my so-called wife didn't even bother to clarify. Of course, I couldn't oppose Mia since my business still depended on her. I smiled calmly, pretending not to care. "No worries. Mia will replace them, right?" I glanced at Mia, her eyes icy. Even though I was used to her acting like this, my heart still hurt every time I saw those cold eyes. She gave a cold snort and went upstairs, ignoring me. "Mia, slow down. Wait up." Our marriage was purely a business move. My dad was seriously ill and the company was sinking, so he set me up to marry into the Lee family for support. Mia and I were childhood sweethearts, with her being a year younger. But Mia had a guy she liked who went abroad, and they couldn't be together. Under family pressure, she married me. For the first year, she treated me like ice. Bringing men home was routine, and scandals surrounded her constantly. She resisted both the Lee family and me this way. It was clear she wasn't like this before. When my stepmother punished and mistreated me as a kid, Mia would complain to the teacher for me. She'd take revenge when I was bullied and help me prank my stepmother. I'd liked her since we were kids, though she always thought I was just lonely. In high school, her first love showed up, and we drifted apart. I buried my feelings deep down. No one knew. The next day, a brand new Lego set was fully built in the living room. But Mia had been missing for days, probably partying somewhere. I was too swamped with company stuff to care or look for her. My dad's entertainment company was a mess, on the verge of bankruptcy until I stepped in and fixed things one by one. How I survived that time, God knows. Now the company was just starting to recover, but there was no time to chill as I was going over a contract. Suddenly, my brother Tom called me in a panic. "Hey, make it quick. I'm busy. Just spill." Ito Ken is back. Ito Ken was Mia's first love. Tom continued. "Reliable sources say he's landing at the airport tonight." "Hey Jake, did you hear me?" Tom sounded more anxious than I was. "Got it," I replied coolly, as if it didn't matter. "That's it. He's your legit rival. You not worried Mia's gonna ditch you for him?" "Our marriage is just for show. Her messy personal life ain't my problem. We both get what we need. Plus, being Mia's husband wasn't even my choice initially." Using busyness as an excuse, I hung up and tried to relax. I remembered there was a party tonight that Mia and I were supposed to attend together. Checking our chat, the last message was me notifying her about the party, but she hadn't replied. With Ito Ken back, I was likely going solo tonight. Downing a big cup of coffee to mask the bitterness in my heart, I kept working. The party was at the Grand Hotel, partly owned by the Lee family. The guests were all from top-tier families, I navigated through the crowd, playing the role of a socialite like a pro. Suddenly, I spotted a familiar face, Emily, last year's Best Actress. I'd watched her films in high school and admired her acting. My company had tried to sign her before without luck, so I decided to approach her now, hoping for future projects. Hey, Miss Yu, I'm Jake, CEO of Prime Entertainment. Yeah, you're Mr. Lee's husband, right? I smiled, used to this response for ages. People first recognized me as Mia's husband, then as Jake, but the Lee family name was valuable. Emily was open to chatting for a bit. Mr. Jake, there are too many people here. Let's find a quieter spot to talk in detail. I've been wanting to work with your wife for a while. Didn't expect you to come to me first. Emily smiled and led me to the second floor. We swapped business cards, and she was eager to collaborate. When it was time to leave, it was already late. She wanted to discuss things with Mia, which I politely declined. Mr. Jake, see you again? Sure. I watched her get into her car, feeling defeated. The social hierarchy was too obvious. If I wasn't Mia's husband, nobody would even notice me. The night was deep, and the moon was hidden behind clouds. After a few drinks, I couldn't drive and didn't want to go home anyway. So, I called a cab and went for a ride. But the streets were nearly empty, and only the streetlights flickered across my face. I had two homes, yet neither felt right. I didn't want to see my stepmother's shark-like face or Mia bringing Ito Ken home. Instead, I hit up Tom's bar and partied until dawn. The next morning, Tom woke me up. Hey, your wife's been calling me nonstop. It's driving me nuts. Just answer her. I took the phone, hearing her shaky voice. Jake, where are you? I'm at Tom's bar. Why didn't you come home? Her voice was hoarse, sounding like she hadn't slept well. My mind went blank for a moment. Wasn't it because I didn't want to ruin your fun? Where I am has nothing to do with you, right, Mia? Annoyed, I hung up, seeing Tom watching me with a knowing look. Finally stood up for yourself, huh? Will Mia come after me? Exhausted, I didn't care anymore and closed my eyes to sleep. When I got home, it was already afternoon. To my surprise, Mia wasn't with her first love, but was home, looking gloomy. Then she suddenly stood up and rushed over. Jake, you've really messed up. Staying out all night. Mia looked at me with displeasure, as if inspecting something. Jake, I'm exhausted. Don't bother me. Tired? You seemed pretty happy talking with Emily last night. What? Watching her short vids wasn't enough for you. Now that you met your fave actress, you forgot who you are. Her tone had a hint of jealousy. Jake, I was just talking about a possible collab. Why is it such a big deal? Last night, my friend sent pics of you two in our group chat. You know how embarrassed I was? Her face turned red, clearly feeling wronged. So that's it? I knew it. She wouldn't care about me otherwise. Mia, aren't you being kinda hypocritical? You bring men home, but I can't talk business with a woman. It's different. She stepped closer, her faint perfume wafting over. Jake, I'm warning you. If you mess around outside and make me look like a fool, I won't let you off. Her eyes were icy. I released my clenched fists, forcing a fake smile. Don't worry, even if I did, I'd wait until you're gone so I could freely have fun with someone else in your bed. I tidied her messy bangs, tucking them behind her ear. Who doesn't know how to be spiteful? Jake, how dare you? She glared at me, teeth clenched. If you can do it, why can't I? If you dare, why shouldn't I? I gave her a cold smile and slammed the bedroom door shut. Outside, I heard a heart-wrenching cry, puzzling me. I was about to open the door, but the sound abruptly stopped. I shook my head, thinking she must be having a meltdown. What a drama queen. Once the outside quieted down, I went out to grab a bite. Aunt Lisa was there serving me soup and couldn't help but speak up. Sir, madam. Madam was looking for you all night. She was really worried. Oh. I thought her worn-out look was because she spent the night with Ito Ken, but so what? She was looking for me to avoid embarrassment, fearing people would think I was playing around with other women. Before I finished eating, a call summoned me to the company. A celebrity had been caught soliciting prostitutes, and the company's phone was blowing up. I'd always been strict with the managers, so how did such a disgusting thing happen? Besides the financial hits, how long would it take to restore our reputation? As soon as I got to the office, I called a meeting and exploded. Did you all ignore my instructions? Didn't I say protect your image? Are you all tired of living? The managers trembled, tails between their legs, not daring to look at me. Taking a deep breath, I asked for a report on public opinion and told the PR team to move fast. Don't try to cover it up. Just fire him, terminate his contract, and issue a statement of regret. It's up to you, Jake. The expose also mentioned an anonymous artist from our company. Yes, the manager's voice was barely audible. I felt a stomachache, nearly snapping the pen in my hand. Fire everyone involved and demand compensation for the losses. After the meeting, everyone left in fear. I rarely lost my cool in front of them, so they were probably cursing me in their group chats now. I opened WeChat, seeing it flooded with messages. Some mocked me, others sneered, believing I only saved the company from bankruptcy because of the Lee family. Many people were waiting to see me fail again, just for their amusement. After handling company matters, it was already 10 p.m. Exhausted, I stepped out and my assistant advised me to use the back door. Reporters were still blocking the entrance. I took the elevator to the underground parking, but before reaching my car, a large crowd suddenly surrounded me. Mr. Jake, what's your take on the prostitution scandal involving the popular idol Greg? Didn't your company pride itself on strict management? How did this happen? Mr. Jake, the state newspaper has already issued a critical report. Didn't the Lee family warn you beforehand? The barrage of questions and flashing lights made me dizzy. Anger bubbled up, ready to explode. I'm telling you one more time, don't even think about it. As I spoke, I turned abruptly to push away someone, but used too much force and hit my head hard on the basement pillar. The next second, a figure rushed in, grabbing my arm. The faint scent of perfume brought calm to my chaotic mind. I heard her say, "Enough. My husband has no obligation to answer you. If you have any questions, you can ask me. You've been so diligent. I've noted your newspaper's names. I'll be sure to visit you all with banners of commendation." Mia's words were slow and powerful, her gaze sweeping over them with contempt. The crowd fell silent and scattered within seconds. I tried to pull away, reaching to pry her fingers off, but she hooked her arm around mine. "Why are you avoiding me? Don't you know your mental state? I was wondering why you hadn't come home, thinking you were hooked by some vixen again." She snorted coldly, as if fearing I'd make her a laughingstock. I wanted to retort, but everything went black, and I collapsed. "Hey, are you faking it, Jake?" When I woke up, the room was filled with the sharp smell of disinfectant. My assistant was beside me. Mr. Jake, you're finally awake." The young girl's eyes were red, making me think I had some serious illness. I glanced around. The woman was gone, and a heavy sigh rose in my chest. Mia walked in, carrying a bunch of bags. She tossed the medical bill on the table and started opening the bags. "You're awake. The doctor said you have low blood sugar and a bad stomach. Not sure what you want to eat, so I bought a bit of everything." The pampered lady who never lifted a finger was now struggling to open containers, almost spilling the porridge. Since when did the aloof princess start caring about others? The assistant saw her coming and quickly found an excuse to leave. "I'm not hungry." I shook my head, my mind filled with thoughts about tomorrow's headlines. Mia frowned, her tone leaving no room for argument. "You have to eat. Grandpa came to see you earlier and said you've lost weight. He thinks I've been neglecting you." So she was reprimanded. That explains her sudden consideration. I smirked, looking at the 4 in my right hand, knowing it'd take a while to finish. "Just leave it. I can't eat like this anyway." Noticing my gaze, she frowned slightly. With a faint hum, she said, "Then I'll reluctantly feed you this time." She picked up a bowl of millet porridge and fed me. Despite her reluctant expression, she waited until the porridge cooled before bringing it to my lips. I wondered how much effort Ito Ken had put into making her so considerate. Or maybe she was naturally kind to someone she loved. After finishing the porridge, she tended to my wound, getting so close that all I could see was softness before me. She carefully touched the wound with a cotton swab, as if I were fragile. My back stiffened. feeling utterly uncomfortable. The few intimate moments we had were happening in a hospital. She glanced at me, a smile tugging at her lips. Why are you so stiff? First time. Too nervous. Her tone was teasing, making it seem like she was flirting. I remained silent, closing my eyes to steady my breath, trying to avoid further embarrassment. She picked up the medicine bottle, her touch gentle and precise as she treated the wound on my head, watching her serious profile. I couldn't help but recall her earlier days, the proud and carefree girl, the moon behind clouds. I had tried reaching for the moon, but she was too far away. A ringtone interrupted my thoughts. Mia answered the call, sounding particularly irritable. Before leaving in a hurry, she reminded me, Jake, something's come up at the company. I have to go. If you need anything, call home and ask Aunt Linda to bring you food. Surprisingly, she had always craved freedom and liked doing her own thing. Yet now she managed the company meticulously. The company's issues gradually settled down. Mia hadn't brought any men home and hadn't shown up for days. At noon, the driver brought me lunch, and I noticed something strange about the food lately. Aunt Linda's cooking had always been consistent, so why had it declined recently? Maybe our prepackaged meals had run out again? I forced myself to swallow today's meal and received an email from actress Emily seeking collaboration. We had a new drama perfect for her, though she approached us because of the Lee family. I didn't mind. At least her involvement would add some shine to our company. I happily replied to her email, setting up a time to discuss the project in detail. Suddenly, a gossip news notification popped up on my computer. The headline read, Miss Mia's Late Night Rendezvous, Suspected New Lover. The accompanying picture showed Mia in a man's arms at a hotel entrance, looking pitiful and intimate, as if she were acting coquettishly. But my eyes focused solely on the man's blurred profile, even from his silhouette. I could recognize Ito Ken. No wonder my assistant and employees had been hesitant to speak to me that morning. The joy I had felt moments ago plummeted into a pit. A wave of dull pain followed. It seemed Mia had been busy with him these past few days. How naive of me to think she was caught up with company matters. She stayed out all night and still had the nerve to control me. What a joke. I looked at Emily's email, which subtly hinted at her desire to meet Mia's father. I clenched my fingers, taking a deep breath. Why did everyone want to get to know the Lee family through me? I am Jake. The next moment, I picked up the phone and dialed a number. Hello, Lawyer Tom? Please draft a divorce agreement for me. How? Does Miss Lee know about this? Is it necessary? Once you draft it. She knows. Maybe my tone was too cold. The person on the other end paused and didn't say anything more. Lawyer Tom worked quickly. By Friday, after a meeting, I saw several missed calls from Mia. I called back, and as soon as she picked up, her voice was hysterical. Jake, what are you doing? What do you mean? Miss Lee is not stupid. She can understand the words on the document. Divorce. Do you think you can just leave the Lee family whenever you want? I looked down, remembering the help Mr. Lee had given me. Don't worry, I'll leave with nothing. I won't take advantage of you. The Lee family has helped me a lot. If you ever need anything, you can always contact me. I could hear her gritting her teeth through the phone. Jake, you're dreaming. You're not allowed to leave until I say so. Childish. I frowned and lowered my voice. Mia, how long do you plan to humiliate me? The person on the other end paused, seemingly choked up. Even if I owe your family, I'm not your punching bag. I've enjoyed many conveniences thanks to the Lee family, but I've also helped them with many things. In the end, people only see me as your husband, pointing fingers behind my back. I sighed. Mia, I'm tired. I want to be myself. She was silent for a long time, so long that I thought she hadn't heard me. I tore up the divorce agreement. If you want a divorce, come talk to me in person. The phone hung up. I frowned, feeling a surge of irritation. Was it my imagination? Or did her voice sound a bit choked up just now? I took the divorce agreement back home, but she didn't come back all night. Not only that, she also refused to answer my calls. I didn't have time to continue this with Mia, so I packed my bags and moved out. I decided to handle the divorce through litigation. On Sunday, I was at home packing my things. The staff wanted to help, but I stopped them. They all looked at me timidly, not daring to speak. I thought there would be a lot of stuff, but in the end, it was just 2 suitcases. Everything left in the house was luxury brands Mia gave me for appearances. Suddenly, the door opened and Mia walked in with a cold expression, reeking of alcohol from a hangover. I didn't want to know which guy's bed she had just crawled out of. She stared at me, her voice icy. "Jake, packing so quickly?" I ignored her and closed the suitcase. Something seemed to trigger her, and she choked up as she rushed forward, grabbing my arm. "Jake, what do you want me to do? I didn't agree to the divorce. How can you leave me?" I looked at her pitiful expression. The last time I saw it was in the gossip news, where she was cuddling with Ito Ken, acting all coy. A wave of sorrow washed over me as I looked at her emotionlessly. "Mia, since we married, not a single day has belonged to me, and I haven't had a day of genuine happiness. How do you expect me to keep living like this? Making me stay in this swamp is killing me." Her hand stiffened, seemingly frightened by my resolute gaze. "Miss Lee, let's part on good terms." I pushed her away and picked up my suitcase. She stood there like a lost child. "Was being with me that miserable for you?" I couldn't believe she had the nerve to ask that question. "Jake, you were the one who said you wanted to marry me." Before she could finish, her throat seemed to close up and her eyes turned red. I turned away, speaking coldly. "In the past, I was blind to your true nature. Are you satisfied now?" "You." She was furious, her face pale. I dragged my suitcase out of the room and she shouted after me in anger. "Fine. If you want a divorce, we'll get a divorce, Jake. You'd better not regret this." Mia had her secretary deliver the divorce agreement. As I signed it, the secretary watched me, looking like she wanted to say something but didn't. Mia picked up the pen, hesitated for a few seconds, and scribbled her signature. It was finally over. At that moment, I felt an immense sense of relief. It was like being a balloon released into the sky, free to drift away. I grabbed my luggage and left. Mia stayed inside the entire time, glaring at me as if she wanted to devour me. It was strange. Now that we were divorced, she could openly be with Ito Ken. "Mr. Jake, may I drive you?" The secretary asked politely, trying to help with my suitcase. I moved the suitcase slightly away from her. "No need. The cab I called has already arrived. From now on, I have nothing to do with the Lee family." Her expression stiffened and she nodded lifelessly. I got into the taxi, fastened my seatbelt, and took one last look at the place I had lived for a year. The lavishly decorated villa felt empty and cold. I had a small apartment downtown. It couldn't compare to this place, but at least it was mine. As the car started and drove a few hundred meters, the wind blew in through the window. I was about to close the window when I suddenly saw it in the rearview mirror, a figure rushing out of the villa gate. Mia? She was running fast, not caring that her shoes had fallen off. "Jake?" Her voice sounded like a desperate cry. The rest of her words were lost in the wind as the figure grew smaller and smaller. The sunlight shone on her fluttering skirt, reminding me of the proud moon I had secretly admired in my youth. I closed the window, leaving everything behind. "Driver, go faster." Losing the title of Mia's husband inevitably caused some connections to sever. But I hadn't been idle all these years. Some genuine partners wanted to keep working with me, so I offered better terms in return. In September, my high school alma mater celebrated its centennial anniversary and invited me to give a speech. It just so happened that I had a slot in my schedule, so I planned to go back and take a look. If needed, I could donate some money for charity. It was a good opportunity for positive publicity for my company. Today, returning to my alma mater coincided with the registration day for new students. The faces of the high schoolers, full of youthful innocence, made me nostalgic. Before the speech, I wandered around the school. Back then, Mia and I were in the same school, different classes, but that didn't stop me from watching her every move. I didn't know why, but ever since I stepped into the school, many memories of her kept flooding back. and I couldn't block them out. Clearly, I had planned to let her go. I walked into class 6 of the third year, my old classroom. The students were busy finding their dorms and hadn't come to class yet. I sat in my old seat. The desk hadn't changed and still had some scratches I left behind. Back then, influenced by TV dramas, it was trendy to carve the name of someone you liked onto your desk or write it in a hidden part of your book, secretly confessing in an unnoticed spot, imitating the romance of idol dramas. I had done something so foolish back then, too. My confession was carved onto the desk. Even in such a hidden spot, I was still afraid of being discovered. So I carved, "I like Emily." Emily was a popular actress during our youth. Mia didn't like her. I liked her because of a movie she starred in where her character's personality resembled Mia's. So I used her as a substitute for the unspeakable name. I bent down to look under the desk and found that someone had discovered it. The name Emily had been scratched out and next to it was written Mia. I was stunned. When did she find out, and when did she? It felt like something was about to surface, but there was a layer of fog. Suddenly, my head started to ache. In a panic, I stood up and banged my forehead on the desk, a dull pain spreading. At that moment, a gentle voice came. "Surprised, Jake?" I turned and saw my former homeroom teacher standing by the window. "Oh my, it's really you." I thought I was mistaken. "Miss Eva, let's chat." I went out to talk with her, discussing recent events and my reason for being there. Miss Eva was close to retirement, her face as kind as ever. She used to teach Chinese, and her classes were my favorite. "I heard you and Mia got married. Sometimes I see news about you two online. You make such a handsome couple." I smiled stiffly. The divorce hadn't made it to the news. Only people in our circle knew. So I noticed back in high school she always had a crush on you. High school? I frowned. Mia and Ito Ken were in the same class, and I didn't interact much with her. Yes, you didn't know. Mia often didn't go home after school. Her parents even called the school where Matt, her teacher and homeroom teacher, was worried sick, thinking she had gotten involved with some delinquent. No matter how good her grades were, if she took the wrong path, it would be hard to come back. Later, she was punished to stand in the office. The math teacher questioned her for a long time, asking why she didn't go home after school. What did she say? We all remember she said, if the student office couldn't solve the bullying problem, she'd go to the principal. If the principal couldn't solve it, she'd go to the education department. No one could treat Jake like that. She laughed, her eyes wrinkling kindly. I was bewildered, not knowing these stories. There were indeed some annoying rich kids in high school who hung around like thugs. They knew my mother had passed away and spread rumors. They insulted me daily and would lock me in the bathroom if they were in a bad mood. Unfortunately, my dad didn't have the power their fathers did, so I had to endure it. So Mia often stayed after school to help me, but after we got married, she never showed me a kind face. Before leaving, my homeroom teacher asked for my autograph for her daughter, who liked me a lot. When did I become so famous? And this memory made me realize that Mia might have hidden many emotions and stories in our marriage. She once protected me, but now, for various reasons, she had become indifferent to me. This discovery left me with complex feelings, a mixture of gratitude for the past and helplessness and confusion about the present. On the flight back to the city, my fingers hesitated over my phone, wanting to ask Mia about what happened today. After some thought, I decided it was better to ask her in person. I looked at the white clouds outside the window, my thoughts tangled as trouble seemed to be brewing. The plane encountered extreme weather and malfunctioned. My assistant, sitting beside me, panicked and clung to my hand, crying. The cabin lights flickered, and passengers began to shout and scream. My head started to ache again, and I felt an overwhelming sense of irritation. The pilot took emergency measures, managing to make a forced landing on the nearest sea surface. Everyone was floating in the sea with life jackets on. I tried to get closer to my assistant, but was swept away by a sudden undercurrent. Panic set in as I struggled, gradually losing strength. When I woke up, my surroundings were unfamiliar. It was a house made of bricks and dirt, covered in dust, old and dilapidated. A simply dressed, middle-aged man walked in and smiled at me. "You're finally awake. Here, drink some medicine to prevent your wounds from getting infected." I tried to sit up but felt pain all over my body. My ribs seemed broken, and my foot was swollen like a pig's trotter. I looked at my hands, which were covered in tiny cuts. The man, named Martin, said he found me by the sea. He told me I'd been swept away by the undercurrent and must have hit many rocks, causing all these injuries. He initially thought I was dead, but recognized my face and brought me back, not expecting me to still be alive. This place was a small fishing village, nestled between the mountains and the sea. The men mostly worked outside or fished, while the women stayed home, doing laundry, cooking, and farming. For several days, Martin took care of me. My body was cold and weak, my wounds wouldn't heal, and I often slept in a daze. The medical conditions here were limited, and getting to the city required a long journey over the mountains. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe such backward places still existed in today's rapidly advancing world. Martin fed me medicine, then looked at me with some embarrassment. "Jake, we've gotten to know each other a bit. Could you give me your autograph?" An autograph? I frowned. This was the second time I'd received such a request. "My son works in town and brought back a magazine. I saw you in it. You're a big star. They say a celebrity's autograph can be sold for money. Is that true?" He asked eagerly, feeling it might be too mercenary and not daring to meet my eyes. "Jake, I mean no offense. I just want to save some money to get my son a wife." I looked at him. "Martin, you must have mistaken me for someone else. As far as I know, I've never been in a magazine." "No mistake. Your smile is just like that of the man in the magazine. I may not be well educated, but my eyesight is sharp." He spent a long time rummaging through his house to find the dirty magazine cover. The hard paper was stained with cold dust, and I saw a face identical to mine. The man in the picture was smiling confidently, striking a carefully posed stance. That overwhelming feeling surged again. My head throbbed. It was as if some memories were locked away in a box, but I couldn't find the key. To repay Martin as soon as possible and recover my health, I asked him to borrow a mobile phone. In the whole fishing village, there were only a few people with phones, and they were all basic ones. There was no signal inside the house. Martin had to go up the mountain to cut firewood, so he took me along to find a signal. He supported me the whole way, and I felt immensely grateful. My ribs hurt faintly, and I bit my lip to endure it. Just drinking herbal medicine wouldn't heal these wounds. While Martin caught firewood, I slowly moved around, trying to find a signal. Finally, on a small hill, I found 2 bars of signal. I called Tom, but there was no answer. I quickly sent a text message asking for rescue. As I waited for a reply, it started to drizzle. Martin urged me to go back, saying the mountain road would be difficult in the rain. At night, the rain got heavier, causing a landslide that blocked the road. I looked at the phone, which had no signal, and could only wait silently. Lying in bed, barely holding on, I prayed for the rain outside to stop. The thick rain mist made the moonlight faint. I couldn't help but wonder what Mia was doing at this moment. Was she whispering sweet nothings with Ito Ken, or lying in some assistant's arms? Why did she do those strange things that made me overthink? I felt cold all over, no matter how thick the blanket was, until Martin woke me up. It was still pitch black outside, and I looked at him in confusion. "Jake, my brother said someone came down the mountain road. We don't know if they're here to fix it or just passing by, but from their attire, they seem to be from the city. Do you want to go borrow a phone from them? Maybe their phones work better." A glimmer of hope rose in my eyes, thinking Tom might have come for me. I struggled to get up, and Martin carried me with an umbrella. On the mountain road, we could vaguely see the light of flashlights. There seemed to be many people. They were all bent over, digging the soil vigorously. As we got closer, a familiar figure came into view. Mia was kneeling in the muddy pit, her delicate figure trembling as she dug up dirt scoop after scoop. Her trembling, choked voice mixed with the sound of rain, a mix of curses and pleas. "Jake, don't let me find you. If I do, I won't let you go." Why is there no one? Didn't they say there was a signal here? Useless. A bunch of useless people can't even find a person. The others didn't dare to speak, diligently digging as if there was treasure hidden. A pile of broken shovels lay beside them. Who knew how much force had been used? The bodyguards couldn't stop Mia, so they just held an umbrella for her. "Jake, I'll find you soon. Wait for me, wait for me," she murmured to herself, gradually choking up. I walked up to her weakly. "Mia?" She didn't hear and continued digging. Her delicate hands were already bloodied and raw from the dirt and rocks. "Mia, I'm here." I raised my voice and she trembled all over. Mia slowly turned her head as if doubting her own ears. When she saw my face, her tear-reddened eyes softened instantly. The bodyguards looked over but didn't dare act rashly. Her probing voice was cautious, as if afraid I would run away. "Jake, it's me." As soon as I spoke, she stumbled and rushed over. She gently touched my face, feeling the warmth, confirming my existence. The next second, she threw herself into my arms. "Jake, I was wrong. Don't leave me. I'll do anything, but don't treat me like this. I'm begging you." She sobbed, soaked by the rain, the cold seeping in. She hugged me so tightly that it hurt my wounds. Pain. I struggled, frowning. She quickly let go, noticing my injuries. Her eyes reddened with guilt. She soon called a helicopter to take me away. Before leaving, Mia gave Martin a large sum of money and promised to support the small fishing village. On the helicopter, I seemed to have a fever, lying weakly on her lap. In the bright light, I could finally see Mia clearly. Her clothes were torn and dirty, her face looking like she had been digging. Even with grass stuck to her, the noble lady's appearance was gone, looking no better than the bedraggled bodyguards. The mountain road was too narrow for cars, so they must have come on foot. With the rain, who knows how many times they had fallen into pits or gotten cut by sharp weeds. I couldn't help but feel heartbroken, clutching her clothes in my delirium. "Mia, who am I?" Her body stiffened, looking at me with probing eyes. "Do you remember?" "You're my husband, Jake." When we arrived at the hospital, Mia also collapsed. She had many small injuries and had been sleepless for days, finally unable to hold on any longer. The first thing she did when she woke up was to look for me. During my recovery, Mia stayed with me every day, not allowing me to worry about company matters. Whenever I mentioned Ito Ken, she looked helpless and repeatedly emphasized that he was not her first love. If I was a male star, then what about the CEO of Prime Entertainment? I pressed Mia for answers, but she insisted on waiting until I was fully recovered. On Friday afternoon, my father, Mark, came to visit. The moment he walked in, I almost didn't recognize him. It was as if there was no memory of his face in my mind. But why didn't my father come looking for me when the accident happened? Why did it take him a week after my hospitalization to visit? "Jake, I've been so busy. I only just found time to see you. You won't blame me, will you?" Mark smiled kindly, but I felt he was insincere. He made small talk, but his words were probing. "I heard you and Mia got divorced. Why? Didn't she take good care of you? Didn't Mr. Lee like you? Why don't you ask him for help? Maybe he can persuade Mia." I frowned, suddenly realizing something. When I was the CEO, I had never seen Mark, a father who knew nothing about his son's whereabouts but focused on external things. What did that indicate? He only cared about benefits. I looked down, weary. "I'm tired. Please leave." Mark's smile froze, but he didn't say anything more. Before he left, he gave me a gold card. "It's for buying nice gifts to please Mia, and you can repay me double when you have the money." I stared at the gold card on the table, finding it exceptionally glaring. A wave of resentment rose within me, and I grabbed the card. Chasing after him, Mark was waiting for the elevator with a flamboyant woman beside him. My stepmother, Lisa. I stood behind a potted plant, overhearing her complaints. "Your son has nothing to do with the Lee family anymore. Why give him money? Keep your voice down. I saw Lee's bodyguards nearby. I think Mia still has feelings for Mark. Even if she doubts it, they're divorced." I told you your eldest son is unreliable, Lisa mocked, and Mark didn't refute her, even agreeing. He looked at Lisa's belly and sighed. All right, let's go check on the IVF situation. Don't worry, even if I can't have a son, I'll find someone who can give you one. My eyes widened in shock at their worldview. Fragments of memory flashed, and the headache returned. Lisa had health issues and had never conceived after marrying him. 2 IVF attempts had failed since my father remarried after my mother passed away. He had increasingly despised me, as if my existence was a constant reminder of the past that could never be erased. He only wanted a descendant with this woman to inherit the family business. No matter how hard I studied, he never acknowledged me. So he came here just to see if I still had any value left, to see if I could reconnect with the Lee family. He never intended to hand over the company to me. So how did I end up taking over Prime Entertainment? The headache spread, the dull pain piercing my heart. My eyes reddened and I struggled to breathe. Suddenly, a hand wrapped around my waist. Jake, don't listen anymore. The sweet scent of perfume enveloped me, isolating me from the chaos. My headache started again, but this time, I remembered many things. I remembered the suppression in the Jake family. I remembered how Mia chased after me for a long time in college. I remembered being discovered by a talent scout and becoming a national idol. Mia was anxious beside me and called a woman, my previous therapist, Diana. Diana asked me to talk about my current feelings and talked with me for a long time, so long that I fell asleep. In my dreams, I was a dazzling star. It was like I had found the key to that memory box. Everything inside surfaced. My name is Jake, and I am an actor. I am also Mia's husband. As far back as I can remember, my parents' relationship was broken. Looking back now, I realize they never shared a meal at the same table. It seems I was destined to have only one person who loved me from the moment I was born. But she passed away when I was very young. My stepmother's abuse and bullying from my classmates made me retreat into the false stories and fantasies from which I never wanted to emerge. Sometimes, I wished I could be like the protagonists in those feel-good novels. I wanted to be the main character, to become the villain, to experience different lives, to be anyone except myself. Mia and I were childhood sweethearts, deeply in love with each other. We dated in college and got married after graduation. She was really tsundere, always saying no, but giving in to whatever I wanted. I loved my job. I loved the characters on stage because at that moment, I didn't have to be myself. I became the characters in the books, with the stage revolving around me and the plot unfolding at my feet. I immersed myself in one role after another until I took on a web drama called The Return of the Ex-Husband, a revenge-themed series. Tom and Ito-ken were also actors in the drama. When I watched the first few episodes, the young protagonist's psyche seemed to mirror mine exactly. At that moment, I saw myself. In the early episodes, the young protagonist had lost his mother at an early age. His father abandoned the family, and his stepmother hung him from the beam and beat him. The actress playing the stepmother was a seasoned performer, and her expressions and movements made me feel she was that stepmother. I trembled, wanting to scream, but unable to utter a sound. When it was my turn to act, I completely immersed myself. The protagonist also married a wealthy family's daughter, but was looked down upon by everyone. Treated as if he were a freeloader, to reclaim himself, he decisively divorced, built his company into a top entertainment enterprise, and exacted revenge on the scumbag woman and her first love, crushing all those who doubted him. I suddenly wanted to be like him. Gradually, after each scene, I found it hard to shake off the emotions. Even when I did, I felt disoriented. Sometimes, I felt the me in the drama was the real me. I played a version of myself that wasn't really me. In the end, I couldn't distinguish between the drama and reality. After the drama wrapped up, I couldn't snap out of it and started exhibiting strange behaviors. For example, I would suddenly make Mia sleep in the living room or call her a scumbag. I would also treat Tom as a close brother when I saw him in the makeup room. Mia noticed something was wrong and called Diana to help me. She diagnosed me with dissociative identity disorder. Unable to snap out of my roles, I mixed film and life, rewriting it into my own script. Mia didn't dare intervene recklessly and tried to accompany me in slowly coming out of it. So she gathered a group of people to act with me, almost bringing the entire entertainment industry along. A voice rang out. "There's a script of the return of the ex-husband on your right. Pick it up and tear it apart, Jake. It's time to wake up." On the day I recovered, Mia picked me up and took me home. She personally cooked a meal for me, which was barely passable. I suddenly understood why the food the driver brought before was so terrible. It was all made by her. I looked at her with teary eyes, and she told me not to cry. But as soon as she said that, tears began to fall from my eyes. Mia hugged me, and she couldn't stop her tears either. "I'm sorry, Jake. You didn't do anything wrong. It's all my own choice. As long as you don't leave me, I'll do anything, even act or play any role with you," she cried softly, with a mix of joy and relief. Silly girl. I bent down and kissed her. That evening, while she was taking a bath, her phone kept lighting up on the table. "Mia, someone is messaging you. It seems urgent. Can you reply for me?" She had always been like this. Her password was my birthday. I opened her phone and saw a string of messages from her friend Clara. "Clara, hey Miss Mia, can you let me have that drone project?" "Clara, don't play dead." "Clara, if you don't give it to me, I'll send this video to your husband." The video showed Mia drinking with friends at a bar. She was lying on the table, her face flushed, seemingly having drunk a lot. "Honey, honey," she murmured repeatedly. Like an abandoned kitten, someone came over and patted her. It was Diana, that mischievous friend of hers. "Hey, wake up! Stop calling him! Your husband ran away with someone else. Nonsense. It's all your fault, you bunch of little coquettes." Giving bad advice. You actually made me really divorce him. If it wasn't for you, would my husband have run away? She yelled, sounding extremely aggrieved. Her friends burst into laughter. Soon, they stopped laughing because Mia was crying so heartbreakingly. I had never seen her cry so uncontrollably, so deeply saddened. In the video, I recognized the clothes she was wearing. It was the day we signed the divorce papers. That was the day she ran out to chase after me. A wave of bitterness washed over me, and I felt her pain as if it were my own. I was such a jerk to make her this miserable. Mia walked out of the bathroom and saw my red, teary eyes, immediately becoming worried. "What's wrong, Jake? Did I do something wrong?" I was crying uncontrollably, repeatedly apologizing. She saw the messages on her phone and immediately understood. "Jake, it's all in the past." She patted my back, comforting me. "Mia, why didn't you send me to the hospital then? That way I wouldn't have treated you like this. My Jake is so afraid of being alone. How could I bear to leave you there by yourself?" She squeezed my fingers and buried her head in my chest. After being with Mia for a month, my emotions had returned to normal. During this time, she never brought up the topic of getting remarried. I knew it was my illness that made her hesitant. She was giving me time to work on being Jake. I decided to make a comeback and continue pursuing my acting career. Mia still supported my decision unconditionally. After my comeback press conference, not a single director or production contacted me. My medical history was indeed off-putting, but that was fine. I started over with my studio, taking on minor roles, no matter how small. I meticulously studied each role. Mia quietly supported me without interfering. 6 months passed, and a director noticed my performance in a supporting role and decided to cast me as the fourth male lead in his film, playing a villain. Before filming, I repeatedly read the script to fully understand the character. When the movie was released, many people recognized me. Some fans edited my few scenes together. Online comments shifted from, "He looks familiar," to, "He used to be a national idol." I regained some of my old fans. Soon, small production short dramas started inviting me. I became busy, and my time with Mia decreased. Although exhausted, at the end of the day, people would say, "Jake, you've worked hard today, finally." I was no longer just Mia's husband. It took me 5 years to regain my peak status. Fans would dig up all sorts of details, making meeting Mia feel like a spy operation, taking precautions against everything. Finally meeting at a hotel, She hugged me, pouting. Big star, it's really hard to see you. There's no help for it. Your husband is very career-oriented. Hmm, so how do you plan to compensate me? Her lips curved up, eyes filled with ambiguous expectation. I cleared my throat awkwardly. I have a flight to catch in the morning. So I can't stay up till late. Mia laughed and wrapped her arms around my waist. I meant compensation through remarriage. Didn't expect the big star to have his mind elsewhere. I was speechless. Damn, she tricked me. Fine, then I'll go to sleep. Don't, husband. We haven't even talked much since we finally met. There's nothing to talk about with you. Then let's communicate in a different way. Her passionate kiss swallowed the rest of my words. Later, under the covers, she pressed me. Jake, when are we getting back together? When I win Best Actor, when will that be? When it's meant to be. Her expression changed, her face turning red, looking adorable in her frustration. So my movements changed too. After some exhausting moments, I was about to fall asleep when I remembered something. I needed to inform her that I would be filming in the deep mountains alongside actress Emily and needed to let her know. As soon as I mentioned it, Mia sat up. The last plane incident still scared her. I held her, reassuring her. Don't worry. The facilities in that mountain are fully equipped and quite safe. I want to visit Martin after filming. I wonder how the small fishing village is doing now. She nodded. I'll go with you then. All right, sleep now. Is there nothing else you want to say? Nothing. Mia squinted, holding me tight. Nothing. I heard this movie has kissing scenes, 2 of them. How do you know more than I do? She huffed, starting to get sarcastic. If I didn't find out, you wouldn't tell me you want me to go to the theater and see it for myself. Oh, come on. It's just a job necessity. Can't avoid it. I never use stand-ins, so I always tell her about kissing scenes. Also very jealous. Jake, you used to like her. Dishonest. Have you always wanted to work with her? She's an award-winning actress. Who wouldn't want to? I mumbled. Her face darkened. Don't be mad. I'm not doing it for the kissing scenes. It was too late to explain. She bit my neck hard. Jake, if I don't make you a saint today, I won't be Mia. Mia was fierce when jealous. I almost missed my flight the next day. At the end of the year, I was nominated for Best Actor because of my movie with Emily. Fans cheered for me online. Everyone finally recognized my hard work as they watched me climb back up step by step. On the night of the award ceremony, Mia was more excited than I was. Whether we would remarry depended on tonight. Mia and I sat separately, and the host was teasing us by dragging out the announcement. My heartbeat raced uncontrollably. Finally, at the last moment, the host stopped teasing. The winner of the Best Actor award is Jake. Amidst the cheers, I was stunned for 2 seconds, confirming I heard it right before standing up. The lights converged on me, and I waved to everyone, tears welling up. At the same time, major apps crashed for over 10 seconds. Discussions about me skyrocketed by tens of thousands. And as I took the stage, the applause was thunderous. I felt a bit nervous amidst the dark sea of faces, but I found Mia. She smiled at me, looking prouder than I was. Stars may occasionally dim, but the moon always stays. I smiled confidently and firmly. Hello, everyone. My husband is a top idol, having won many newcomer awards. The smartest choice I made was to pursue him during university. After we got married, I often visited him on set. After finishing this film, he could rest for a while. But lately, he's been acting strange. He often talks to himself, even saying he has a company and has to go to work. On cold winter nights, he kicks me out of the bedroom, looking at me coldly, saying ours was a marriage of convenience and there's no need to sleep together. Later, he said Ito Ken was his first love. But from childhood to now, I've only loved him. I knew he was sick. I brought in Diana, who told me not to provoke him, or he'd confuse reality with the script even more. I began to cooperate with his acting. I didn't know how, but I tried my best to learn. I started a branch company, Prime Entertainment. Hired a large number of actors and extras to create a tailored living environment for him. Even the phones and computers were isolated from outside information. I enveloped him in a vacuum world, accompanying him out slowly. My dad said I was wasting money. But isn't earning money meant to be spent on the ones you love? Jake wouldn't pay attention to me, seriously working or getting mad at me. But he managed the company well. The double degree from university didn't go to waste. Every day, I had to bring men home to put on a show. Seeing him smile at Emily made me furious. When would this end? I couldn't even hug him without pretending to dislike him. One day, Jake wanted to divorce me. I went out drinking, trying to find a place to hide, hearing he was moving out. I rushed back. I couldn't bear to see him sad, and we ended up divorcing. Damn it, the trope of the scumbag chasing his wife to the crematorium. Why did I have to endure this? Which idiot screenwriter wrote this bizarre story? I chased after him, wanting him to see me clearly. I am your wife, Mia. He clearly said he wouldn't leave me. But the car went faster and faster. I couldn't catch him. Diana said his tendencies reflected some of his true inner thoughts. After playing others for so long, his inner self finally realized he needed to be himself. I understood, but felt very sad. During his various honors, he absorbed all the outside world's doubts about him. After the divorce, the hardest part was arranging actors to accompany him. He was going to give a speech, and the extras were in place. But the security slipped up and accidentally brought his high school homeroom teacher in. Luckily, their meeting went without incident. But my subordinate said he knew about our high school days but didn't react much. Not even this could trigger his memory. Jake, don't you love me anymore? I suddenly felt scared. The plane crash, the disorientation, losing track of him. I sent that bunch of trash to plant trees in the desert. I searched everywhere, in the mountains and by the sea, but he was nowhere to be found. I went without eating or sleeping, searching for him everywhere. It was my fault. I didn't take good care of him. Tom said he received a text message. Finally, I found him in a remote mountain village. I held him tightly, not wanting to let go. Jake had lost so much weight. I cooked for him, but he wouldn't eat. He started to regain his memory until his father came to visit, triggering his deepest memories. He finally emerged from the script. I want to make a comeback, he said. And I said, okay. He said he would remarry once he won Best Actor. I was speechless, and I said, okay. He said he would remarry once he won Best Actor. I was speechless. Fortunately, Jake worked hard and won Best Actor. Watching him receive the award, I cried secretly. I was so excited I couldn't sleep. So I called Diana in the middle of the night. She thought something happened. Her voice was tense. I said it was nothing. My husband is the best actor. She hung up. Then I called Clara. Clara hung up too. Today, Jake was in a good mood and went to the Civil Affairs Bureau with me. The red marriage certificate regained, making me want to cry. Finally,
Objective marked. Support the attack. Our troops are attacking Charlie. Break the enemy's momentum, or we will lose control of this fight. We are targeting objective Delta.
Just watch. Really, if I wanted to sweat and scream at people, I'd go back to work.
You're leaving the battlefield. Return
I
to
don't
combat.
not
sweat.
that bad, gun.
Yeah, I don't sweat and scream at people.
This isn't Call of Duty. Like, you don't have to sweat. You can just vibe.
Unless your like PCs are really hot and it heats up your office, and then it is a little sweaty, but
Or if you know, somebody just happens to, you know, do that, then it's a little sweaty.
Yeah, look. This was in the box.
cool, dude.
They're like shells. Lego shells. And we can upside.
That is awesome.
You can hang them upside down because there's bumps on the bottom.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah, gun. It's
You're
it's
really
cross-platform.
distracting because I have to put the hot dog costume on right now, so you're stalling for me. Thanks, bud.
You're welcome. That is-
See, that's why he didn't get in the suit because Printer was waiting.
Is this because of the ranch thing?
No, you said, and I quote, "It's not hot in your it's not hot unless your PC is heating up your office." And I said,
The heat
"Or
radiates up my buns when I have this on.
right." And I said, "Or the other thing that can make you sweat is this."
Y'all need
It has
to
nothing to do
y'all
with the
need to
ranch.
fucking stop quoting me. Everybody holding
That
shit
just means we listen to you. How dare we listen?
Yeah, fucking stop it.
So don't listen.
Steamy. Let me download it.